and the blue represents Jacob or Yaakov. So in the Bible, we find that the river called Jabbok is where Jacob crossed and where he met Esau and also struggled with the angel. And the Jabbok River means the blue river. So like I said, Esau equals red and Jacob equals the blue and Jacob equals Israel. This is exactly why the symbol of the flag of Israel is the color blue. So you see the power struggle between the red and the blue, Jacob and Esau, or the summer and the winter, or the day and the night, is reflected in almost all things that we know of, like sports, for example. You see, they are fighting one another, the red versus the blue. And it's the exact same story when you play a video game or even a board game. It's always the red versus the blue. And you will always find the red and the blue in the Illuminati logos, their businesses and their corporations. So now you understand and know why they have the Coke versus Pepsi challenge, because it's a fight over supremacy. And it's always the same story in politics. It's always the red team versus the blue team, which is known as the Republicans and the Democrats. The Ray, the sun, and the D, the moon, or the dark side, the bad side, the good versus the bad. And so now you know why they're always debating and why they're always fighting, because they're trying to take over supremacy and see who will rule. And you'll notice that the blue collar workers are the Democrats, the blue side, and their logo is a donkey. The donkey is the jackass. So, the next time you're watching a Hollywood movie, keep an eye out for the red and the blue, because it's always about the summer and the winter. The evil winter fighting to take over the summer. So now you'll understand why in the film A Year Without Santa Claus, we find the two twin brothers fighting and struggling. And in the film Alice in Wonderland, we find the twin sisters are fighting one another. The red hot summer versus the cold white winter. The cold ice of winter from the goddess or the god of ice. So we sit and we watch as the two sisters fight. The evil white witch of winter takes the crown and steals it from the red witch of summer. In order for the crown to be changed or to be stolen, there first must be a slaying or a decapitation of the old ancient primordial goddess.
Off with your head!
So we are watching the two sides of nature fight one another to take over and take over the season. You see, Jacob was fighting against God because he was fighting against God's house, the forces of nature throughout the year. And there was no angel. It's simply the angles or the different times and seasons of the year. Now let's listen to Jeff Benner of the Ancient Hebrew Research Center, and he'll define a little more of exactly what I'm talking about.
So what we have here, Yisrael, is literally he turns the head of God. Israel, he is the one. He's like the child. Israel, Jacob, is like the child who turns the head of God. Israel. The first letter here is the yod, okay, like that. When it's prefixed to a verb, it means he. We talked about that earlier, he. The last word is the word, what's that word there? El. El, the mighty one, the powerful one, translated as God. So what do we have left here in the middle? This is the fun word, Sar. Sar is a Hebrew word that's usually translated as prince. Sar Shalom, translated as prince of peace or ruler. It literally, the first picture is a picture of a thorn. It has the meaning of to turn. If I'm traveling and I come across a thorn path or a thorn bushes, I literally have to turn and go another direction. So this word, the letter sin, means to turn. Then you have the picture of a head of a man. To turn the head of a man. It's related to a word, another word, yasar, that means discipline. Discipline, to turn the head of a man, to make him change directions.
So remember that the Hebrew shin or sin is the thorns of the horns of the moon. It is the bow or the moon sliver or slice of the moon, the bullhorns of the moon god Sin, which is why Jacob, representing the dark time, can also be known as Sin, the evil one, the dark one. So we have the moon god Sin that gives us our count of time, our year and our month. And just as the moon rotates and turns, the father god Saturn Saturn turns the hands of time. He is the father god. Thus you see the picture of him turning the wheels. So this is exactly why we have the religions of the world, which is nothing more than the legions of the sun god Re. As the sun god Re revolves through the houses of the zodiac or the angles of the year. And the age-old struggle or fight between the two seasons, like Jacob and Esau, this theology can be found throughout everything in our society. And you'll always find a Jacob in it. Let's take the playing cards for example. See, the logo is bicycle, and it doesn't mean the bicycle like this, but the bicycle, the two wheels of the bicycle, like Ezekiel's wheel, a wheel within a wheel. Which is why playing cards have the red and the blue, and you fight when you play one another. That's why you also split the deck. So the playing cards are split between the red and the blue, and they represent the 52 weeks that are in one year. That's why there are 52 cards to a deck. This is exactly why you split and slice the deck in two. You're slicing the year and decapitating the primordial goddess basically, and you're breaking the year into two. So you see, when you're sitting there playing cards and fighting one another and battling one another, you're representing or playing the character of one of the sides, either the red or the blue. You see, when you're playing a deck of cards, you're using 13 of each set or suit. So you have 4 suits, which represents the 4 seasons throughout the year. And since this story is about the story of the year, we have the Jacob, the evil Jack. And the character of the Joker is the character of the Jack, or the Jacob, the Yaakov. He is the clown or the trickster. Thus they have the Joker's wild. And you'll notice the Joker or the Jack is the one that is represented by anything or zero. You see, he sits in the middle between the two seasons, the red and the blue, the jester, the Jack, the Jacob. This is why playing cards have the Black Jack. He represents the evil Dark One, the evil devil, satanic jester, or the trickster figure. He is the Joker, the one that is evil. So you see, this is why when you watch Hollywood movies and you find the character's name is Jack, you'll usually find that they are evil. Like when Jack plays the character of Jack, or the Joker. And thus the Joker is the two-faced liar. He is the trickster figure, the character of the two faces, and he represents the evil dark side of the Jack. So you see, when you want to become a character actor, you must join and become one of the royal jesters from the Order of the Royal Jesters. And notice he's holding death in his left hand. So this is why the Screen Actors Guild and the actors in general, their symbol and their logo is the two masks, which is the two-faced liars, the trickster who goes between the truth and the lies, which is the black and the white of evilness and goodness. And we find the jester, the joker, or the jack in the tarot cards. Card 1, which is 0, the fool. So in the fool character, we see the traveling fool. So when you watch movies like the Titanic, you'll see the traveling fool, and his name just happens to be Jack. And the primordial goddess is slain in two on the diagonal, or in two, cut in half, like the goddess Tiamat, which is why the Titan goddess, Titanic, got split in two. Which is why they sunk the Titanic on the night of the black moon, and they sunk it in the month of the traveling fool, the month of fool, April Fools. And this is exactly why it's sunk on the 15th, the very day our taxes are due, because we are the fools. So now you understand a little bit more about the life, death, and the rebirth colors of red, white, and blue. And the Europeans have the Union flag of the zodiac, which is also known as the Union Jack. So the wheel of the zodiac can tell your future and tell your fortune, which is why we have the wheel of fortune, and the wheel spins and spins, which represents the spiraling spirals of the solar systems, galaxies, and the universe. And when you come to the City of Lights in Las Vegas, you will play the spiraling games like roulette. And this spiraling wheel game is the spiraling wheel of the zodiac throughout the year, which is why they have the little white ball, which is the moon or the sun as it goes through the houses of the zodiac. And when you partake and play in these types of games, you are a bull, which is why you are playing the game of the bull. You are now a game bull, gamble. And what do they do to the bull? They slay it, which is exactly why when you come to Vegas, you get slayed or sliced, which is exactly why they give you the dice, because it's diced and sliced in two. So remember when I told you that all objects like cars and boats and computers or any type of gadget is considered female? Like when you get a new iPod or a new iPhone, you go show your friends and you say, check this out, man, she's beautiful. Well, it's the same story with the machines at Vegas, the slot machines, which is why they have a motherboard. So perhaps now you'll understand why it's called a slot machine, because the slit or the slot is the hole of the slut, and you must put money into it in order for it to work.
You see, if you want to play, you have to pay. And after all, she is a material girl. And you'll notice when you play games in Vegas that the slot machines will always have the pole and the ball, exactly like all games. So now when you walk around Las Vegas and see all the gamers playing as they grab onto the handle or the shaft, and you'll know why they're pulling on it. And they'll have their ball in their hands as they're having a ball. Which makes perfect sense when you consider that Las Vegas is the wedding capital of the world. And everyone goes to Vegas if you're looking for some ass. Which is why Las Vegas is known for its sexy showgirls. And of course, Las Vegas is known for its gentlemen clubs, or the strip clubs. And this is exactly where you will find the sexy women pulling and yanking on the handle or the shaft of the phallic pole. And of course, Las Vegas is known for having whorehouses. So if you want to play, you gotta pay. And when you play the slot machines, the whole game is revolved around revolving or spinning, like the houses of the zodiac. So you see, many will come to Las Vegas to play, but most will leave home a loser, and they will strike out. But for the lucky few who actually line up the triple sevens, they will leave home with the completion of the explosion of orgasm, the climax, what we call a jackpot. You see, because you are the evil one who's running away with all the riches, the crown, the stolen crown. So you ran away with the pot of gold, so that's exactly why you are the jack who has the pot. And the pot of gold can be found with the greedy little green leprechaun. So he is portrayed as the trickster figure, and of course, he is evil. And of course, our money is green. And of course, the pot of gold represents the gold bullion coins, which is the symbol and the color of the golden sun. So Santa Claus, or God, Saturn L, during Saturnalia, what we call Christmas, he has little green elves. So you see, old Saint Nick, or the character of Santa Claus, comes from what was known as the Holly King during the winter season. So Santa Claus was one of two twins. He represented the cold winter time of the autumnal equinox. So you see, it's the time of the year when God's son begins to die and go to the underworld. And this is the time when they celebrate Christmas, which is Saturnalia. So you see, Saturn, or Cronus, is Santa Claus that rides around on the sleigh killer himself, Santa Claus, or Saturn L, Cronus. So you see, Santa Claus and the elf represent the two seasons of the old and the new. So Santa's little elves represent the little children of springtime. You see, this is why we always see children and kids with Santa Claus. Exactly like the ancient Holly King who holds the infant child. You see, this is exactly why they show the grim Reaper, old father of time, holding the hand of the child. Which is exactly why Saturn L, or Cronus, the father of time, you see him with the sleigh and the child eater himself, Saturn L. And notice that he's with a child with a red cap, which is the red cap of death. Which is why Santa also wears the red cap, which is one of the aspects of the red capped jester, the family of the red cap of death, which is the beheading or the decapitation of the head. That's exactly why the jester is holding the decapitated skull